Gilbert, you should have seen Derwin James's face in the locker room after that game yesterday. And I know we're kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but man, he was just smiling. And I tweeted out a quick 7-second video of his, and you could tell he was just like, oh wow, like that's crazy. So definitely great to see the excitement by them. But Gilbert, how was your weekend? We didn't get to see each other at SoFi, but you must have had a busy day.
Yes, I did. And when you were talking about all the games that occurred way back in last Thursday, Chiefs, Ravens, Friday in Brazil, uh, Eagles, I'm already blanking, Packers, like the Jordan Love injury, it just felt like a lot of football has occurred in 1 week. And it feels like it's been a full season, but it's been one game here. And it's obviously week one overreactions. But, I'm going to obviously, pat myself on the back for a couple wins that I got. A good amount of wins here before people in the comments destroy me about one game that I got wrong. I get that. I understand we have a lot of Chargers fans. I love you, Chargers fans. You guys make Compas on the beat. We started this in 2021, and we love the support all the time. That's why we have fun here with Compas, but I'm going to take my L. I'm going to admit my mistakes. I'll take it twice in a row, and hopefully check out What's Up Boats. I made a surprise appearance, and then Adam Hill also made a surprise appearance. So that was a good recap by you and Dan and Dago. But yeah, I was totally wrong there, and I'm here to eat more crab. How about that?
For the folks asking, you guys have to remember the schedule. Today is Lunes Live. It is just Gilbert and I. No Vic the producer, no Dan and Dago. Dan and Dago is off at practice, getting ready for Gilbert. This Friday we have to drive out to Brawley for his game.
I have no idea where Brawley is.
2 hours and we're what's his name is from
in the border.
Andy Ruiz.
So is it more like going to Arizona that way?
Yeah. So it's 2 hours, about 2 hours there, 2 hours back. So, and then we're jumping on that. I'm jumping on that early flight to Southwest or on Southwest for the Canelo fight. So it's gonna be an interesting. Imperial Valley. Yes, okay. That's where it's at. So it's gonna be.
Then how about I do Dan Dago a favor? I'm gonna pick the team that Dan is coaching against to win the game. So that means Dan's gonna win the game. There you go.
Time. Oh my god. Athir, you can send your question, but there's no Dan and Dago. You can send it, but I'm just saying Dan's not here today.
That's on Tuesday.
He will be here tomorrow at around 7:15 when all four of us jump on together. Yes, Royce Freeman is from out there. I remember Marty, you guys played him, right? Marty's an ex-teammate of Dan's. Marty, you guys played Royce, didn't you? 1 year in the playoffs. I thought that was a interesting game, but yeah. So let's get into the games. Gilbert, first game, obviously. Jim Harbaugh returns to the NFL, gets his first victory, 22-10. Like I wrote about yesterday, it wasn't pretty, but Jim never said it was going to be pretty. He said it was going to be about wins. They got their first win. And like I told you, Derwin after the game said, these are the moments that we wanted where the first two quarters, the offense could rely on us. And in the second half, we knew the offense were going to turn it on. And they really turned it on. They were, well, not really turned it on, but they were able to put some good drives together. The defense came up huge. Marty, y'all are wild. He said, yeah. But yeah, so wow, no CMC tonight, no Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, if you guys have him on fantasy football, Christian McCaffrey will not be playing tonight. So make sure you guys go change that.
I need a backup
right now.
Quick story, Fernando. In one of my leagues, I have 2 leagues, and I can't do more than 2. I am down by half a point, and I just need a CMC to give me a point to win the game, and there you go. So
you know what you remind me of? Remember? Oh, you're not going to remember this. In 2015, Melvin Gordon needed 8 yards to get 1,000 for the season and get a bonus. Mike McCoy and the Chargers decided to sit him that game with an injury. And terrible. We asked him after the game, hey, calf and Achilles. We asked him, why didn't you play? He's like, you're not coach. I was ready to play. I don't know why I'm not playing. And I'm like, damn. So you're telling me tonight the 49ers are without CMC. Brandon Ayuk hasn't practiced except for this week, and they just barely Trent Williams.
It's setting up for another upset because we saw a good amount
Let's go,
yesterday.
Aaron. Let's go, Aaron. Go
Yeah.
take that. But obviously, let's get back to the game. Like I said, he didn't say it was going to be pretty, but it feels like there is a little bit of not a little bit. It seems like Joey and Khalil were more like, hey, and even Derwin, it's one game. Let's see what happens moving forward. But they were very excited about the win and Gilbert, just what was your and individually from all the crap and everything? Obviously, this is business. What was your takeaway from that victory?
Yeah,
I said enough last night.
Yeah, most of the weekend I've been reminding myself. I look at myself in the mirror and I say, first comb your hair, and I don't do it, so I put a
What
hat
a
on.
handsome son
Yeah,
bitch.
yeah, that too. And then I say, don't overreact. It's one game. It's week one. But then you start making exceptions for a few teams, and I'm not gonna say the Chargers are gonna have a dominant, awesome season and beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I know I'm not getting points from the Chargers fans by saying all that, but you could definitely overreact a little bit because the things that Jim Harbaugh did in one freaking game that the you can even go back. I'm not trying to single out Staley, but even go back to Lynn days, like where you couldn't get good defense, or you couldn't get good running game, or you couldn't get good protection, or whatever. Pretty much saying you couldn't make life easier for the quarterback. And in one game, Jim Harbaugh comes in and he does it. And and it's not supposed to be pretty, and that's the thing that people might need to get used to. And I'm sure winning is gonna be curing all that. We're like, hey, you want Herbert to do this or have more points. It's not like Caleb Williams having 98 yards, right? Okay. It's more, it's going to be a balanced attack. It's helping out your quarterback. 26 passes compared to 27 carries. That's a good recipe to win the game. And Fernando, I'm sure it must have got tough at times for Greg Roman to go away from the run when they couldn't get any points in the first half or even three quarters. But just being patient, being committed, and the game blew out open with J.K. Dobbins there. So it wasn't pretty losing. Yeah, definitely. There you go, Young West. I'll read it again. It wasn't pretty losing. So this is definitely, you'll take it any other day when it comes to this, especially when Herbert's getting plenty of help. And yeah, all the things that I was concerned about going into the season, all the things I kept blabbing about, yapping about, and yeah, you could say I wasn't optimistic, and I was very critical in the past of the Chargers' history or habits, and I was critical of the roster. I was critical of last year. I needed a couple games to see how Jim Harbaugh was going to do it, and to do what he did, and do that against a very good Raiders defense, and have a very young position skill players, and just to have a gritty game like that. The one thing we still need one more to check off the box is, like, if the game would have got tight in the fourth quarter and it's maybe 2 minutes to go and maybe need to score to win, or maybe a stop here and there, you would like to see that box checked. But it's so much better when you dominate the fourth quarter and J.K. Dobbins is running all over them, and they're getting frustrated. They started a fight. So overall, I thought it was a perfect first game for Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers.
I thought yesterday that fight showed me the fight that two ex players put on their team. Both teams are going to be gritty. Both teams aren't going to let you like you saw the way Jack Jones and Palmer and those guys got into it, but then the rest of the team not the rest of the team, but the rest of the like the rest of the offensive and defensive players kind of go at their guys. I saw Jim and Antonio kind of come out and tell the rest of the team, do not go out there. Stop. Go back. And the other guys kind of went at it. And that's just the fight and the grit that you see from two ex-coaches, two ex-players, and it comes down to their team. So that's exactly what you're going to see all season. No matter what happens, you're going to see fight from both teams, from the Chargers, from the Raiders. Like, I heard people already saying, oh, well, the Raiders are going to start 0-2 because they're going to lose to Baltimore next week. I don't know. I mean, they're going to go in there and they're going to fight. And by the way, well, I will get into that in a second. But just really quick, I do still have reservations like you do. That the receivers are they couldn't get separation.
Yeah.
By the way, the one throw that I thought Justin Herbert made, which had my jaw drop, was the one of Josh Palmer in the end zone that Josh dropped. But if Herbert leads him, Josh has his head taken off. Herbert put it behind him so that he could just catch it, come down, and then score the touchdown. Unfortunately, Josh dropped it, but
those are little things that matter, man. You can't afford injuries, and you're making life easier for your receiver, or at least, and when it comes to health, those are big things that people don't really pay attention to. So good analysis by you right there.
Yeah, no. So I definitely I do my job sometimes, but I really thought that was impressive. I thought Joe Alt against Max Crosby and even Christian Wilkins was pretty impressive as well. I know there's a clip going around where Alt gets taken down by Christian Wilkins, but if you look at J.K. Dobbins, he kind of trips Alt in that play. Like he kind of swung his legs and tripped Alt, but still, I thought Alt was impressive. Again, the receivers are really what I have a question with when it comes to the offense. The defense, I still have questions about the cornerbacks and the. There was times yesterday when I kind of like Brock Bowers made incredible plays. He had Derwin James draped all over him, and he was making some tough catches. I was really impressed with that. But
Yeah.
I do still have my reservations on both sides of the football. But yeah, no, Young West is right. The pass to QJ, if Herbert throws to QJ on the side, it gets picked, and he threw it towards the sideline. Yeah, no, that's incredibly true. Um, so definitely a lot of impressive stuff by the Chargers. They are just and I know guys are going at Asante for that or that missed tackle, Alexander Madison, and Derwin even said it. He's like, if we would have just held him on that play, we probably end up only allowing a field goal. But it's a pretty good start for them. Joey and Khalil, I thought Joey had a hell of a game. I really thought that Joey was all over the field. He had two shoestring tackles on Minshew that if Minshew gets out of it, he runs for a first down. And I think they were both on third down, and Joey stopped them. Joey had a big time sack. Khalil had a sack and a half. They both, and then Joey had that forced fumble on Zamir White. Just impressive by the defense. And Uncle Jam's Army said, so explain how a defense was one of the worst units last season and turned into one of the best for the Bolts. I mean, the team didn't upgrade the roster, just the coaching staff. Coaching matters, and that's what we've been talking about. Puna Ford, a big underrated player. He had that fourth down stop, and then he had the pick, which Gilbert, he reminded me yesterday. He's like, by the way, I did not get tackled. I went down because I did not want to cause a fumble or something happen and then them have a chance. I went down. He's like, I might have been able to score. So Puna was a underrated, funny guy yesterday, but coaching matters. And these guys believe in Harbaugh. They're not asking Derwin to do too much. They really did a good job, in my opinion, with their coaching yesterday. The offense, a lot of question marks. The defense, very impressive, especially with the kind of players that you have on the opposite side. They have two great tight ends. They have one superstar receiver, one good receiver. I like Jacoby Myers a lot. And then you have some good running backs. So I definitely, by the way, Brian, thank you for the assist. No carne asada for Gilberto. But Gilberto already took his lumps yesterday. Come on, guys. But Gilbert, my bad. Turn it over to you.
I'll give you maybe 2 points, and then we probably should move on because we have a short show today. But yes, Fernando, you're right. You know, eventually the pass catchers have to help out Justin Herbert, and they have to grow up a little bit. But you know, sometimes when you get a win like that, where you're buying extra time for them before you need them, like the schedule's starting to break because they got that one victory. It's starting to break their way. You get the freaking Carolina Panthers who were terrible, or freaking zombies out there.
Derek Brown is now out for the year.
Derek Brown's out. So you're going to Carolina, young team. I'm not trying to like jinx them, but you could easily go 2-0 against that crappy team. But you're buying more time for your pass catchers to grow and learn the coaching, learn their roles, get a feel for Herbert. So whenever they play the Chiefs, I think September 29th, Fernando, I'm blanking on the other game before that. But that could be a moment where, okay, now it's time to grow up and see what you really have to Jim Harbaugh Chargers. But that's for another day. Same thing with when I mentioned the whole coaching, when you're in a tight game with 2 minutes to go or 5 minutes to go, I want to see how they do with Harbaugh there. But those are problems for another day. You're growing, you're getting W's, you're stacking them up. And I got to say this because I got to rip on Antonio Pierce. Fernando, you're talking highly of the offense. I don't think they were the worst unit, but they had some moments, like you mentioned, with Brock Bowers. And I obviously mentioned throwing that stupid sloppy interception or fumble wasn't going to help anything. But the defense played lights out for about 3 quarters. But one thing I'm kicking myself, and I know about it's overreaction Monday, but I'm ready to jump ship because Antonio Pierce is a conservative coach, and I just totally forgot about that. And then when Adam Hill gave me crap on what, like, hey, like I could have told you that he's gonna definitely punt there. And I hate coaches like that. Like I give Dan and Diego crap all the time when they're just too conservative, too old school. And one of my colleagues wrote this. I thought it was a little harsh, but like I'll say it here. It was like, AP talks a big game, being tough, being the old Raider way, and being physical. And when you have a moment like that, and you could maybe run the football or put it down their throats and be physical, and you go ahead and take the easy route and punt, that left a sour taste for me for the Raiders. And you have a physical defense, you have a good enough running game. You could just throw it to block barrels or get Devontae a chance. I know you don't want some easy like ISO to Devontae, but to me, I hate weak calls like that. I want to see him, and he had an opportunity to go for a touchdown when they settled for a field goal at the 14-yard line from the Chargers. So, in a way, I thought Pierce helped out the Chargers a little bit. I'm not trying to take away from the Chargers,
No, I agree.
but I want to see Pierce get away from your old ways. You played football in the early 2000s. You're a defensive-minded head coach, but eventually you got to get to the future of football and take some more chances.
When did you ever see an offense? And I'm not going to use the word scared, but like they were kind of like rethinking going forward against the Chargers on fourth down. Like that never happened. But
I didn't even like Pierce's response saying it's a long one. What the hell is a long one?
Yeah,
like, what does that even mean?
I didn't like the response, and you guys are going to get on me because I know I'm one of those guys that, like, to me, fourth down, I usually would go for it in most situations. Here, I actually thought he did the correct thing. I thought you punted
with the Chargers, 7 minutes to go, clock running.
The Chargers offense hadn't done any. I mean, they had that one drive where they scored the touchdown. Other than that, you like let me go to it. Let me see.
Like, you're gonna make my head pop off here, Fernando. But at some
Hold
point,
on.
you gotta give your offense a chance.
Field goal, punt, field goal, punt, touchdown, punt. Like you would only given up what 13 points. Like,
well, when you're asking your defense to bail you out constantly, they're gonna eventually break the game open, and it's kind of like boxing where you're just going at the body. And Harbaugh and Roman kept going, running. They broke it open because they were tired in week one. And credit
to the Chargers for keeping on going with the run because it hadn't been working.
Yeah, and that was beautiful. It's kind of like that. We're gonna talk about that Lions game where they knew the defense was tired. Overtime drive, run the damn football. So I know conservative-minded people are saying, "Well, I'm okay with it." I'm not saying you're that, Fernando. You're always back and forth. I'm not trying to take a shot at you, but
I am.
Why don't you run the damn football? Why don't you try to give it to Bowers? Scheme up a good play, Luke Getsy. It just felt like, if you're going to play like that all the time where you don't even give Minshew a chance, then your offense is never going to grow. And you're becoming a team that's going to be in mediocre land where you're trying to get away from Derek Carr 2 years ago. And you're going to be good defense, terrible offense. Boom, suddenly it's 7-10. And you do nothing again. You have a top 15 pick. You don't get a quarterback again. It just feels like that all over again for the Raiders. And I'm just annoyed because of that stupid weak call. Sorry.
Maybe he doesn't trust Minshew in that situation.
And honestly, we talked about it. I think Minshew is Tom Telesco's guy, and he wants AOC, and this could be a little rift there behind the scenes.
If they go 0-2 and Minshew just has whatever's game against the Ravens, against the Panthers, AOC could be the starting quarterback.
Yes,
he turned the ball over yesterday. He fumbled the ball. He threw the interception, and then they fumbled on the punch out. That's 3 turnovers. Well, that's 2 turnovers from Minshew. They could possibly be switching quarterbacks pretty soon because, like we said, I asked Paul how short of a leash do you think he has, and he's like, honestly, it's hard to tell. But if they start 0-2 and fans are already ripping his head off, they're already ripping Minshew's head off. It's going to be interesting moving forward to see what they do. By the way, Roman Dunze, he has a knee. Is it a knee injury?
Yeah,
he has a sprained MCL and is considered week to week. Nothing good happening over there.